students, today we can discuss some of the questions from the chapter Types of Chemical Reactions. We can start with the MCQs. Okay, here it is showing a multiple choice question, in which the question is calcium oxide is added to water and it forms calcium hydroxide. What is the type of reaction? So no doubt the answer is combination reaction. Then the second question is showing aluminium plus HCl gives AlCl3 plus H2. So what is the type of the reaction? So it is clear that it is a displacement reaction, right? More reactive aluminium displaces hydrogen. So it's a displacement reaction. No chance for combination, no chance for decomposition and double displacement. Next is which of the following is a balanced equation for the decomposition of lead nitrate? So what we have to do here is simply check the number of atoms on the LHS is equal to the number of atoms on the RHS. Okay, we'll start with the first choice. This lead is a one atom on LHS and one atom on RHS. That is balanced nitrogen 2, but here only 1. So this is not the equation. Then here it is. This also we can eliminate because there is no oxygen there. We know lead nitrate decomposition gives oxygen. So only 3 we need to check. The second one is 2 lead on both sides. 2 nitrogen, it is 2 into 2, 4. 4 nitrogen on the LHS and 4 on the RHS. Oxygen atoms are 12. So here it is 2 plus 8 plus 2, 12. So the correct answer is option B. Okay, that is the balanced equation. Another question is the reaction between an acid and a base is an example of what? It is double displacement reaction. Okay, neutralization, it is actually double displacement reaction. Then here, which of the following would not be a displacement reaction? Would not be a displacement reaction. This is a displacement reaction. This is not. This is a combination of, isn't it? So thus all others are it is displacement only. Option B is not a displacement reaction. Then comes another question. Copper oxide plus hydrogen gives copper plus water. Which substance is reduced here? Reduction means removal of oxygen. So copper oxide is losing oxygen. So copper oxide is reduced. The answer is copper oxide. Copper oxide loses its oxygen and forms copper. So copper oxide gets reduced. That is the reduction reaction. Okay. Next question. To prevent the rancidity of oily food items, which gas is used? We know the answer is nitrogen. Simple it is. Then in the reaction, iron plus copper nitrate forms iron nitrate and copper. Which of the following statement is true? Iron is reduced, copper is oxidized. Iron is reduced, no. Copper is oxidized, no. The reaction is double displacement, no. Iron is more reactive. Here, that is the correct option. Iron is more reactive, so it can displace copper from copper nitrate. Okay, so the correct answer is iron is more reactive than copper. Then, why are food articles preferably packed in aluminum foil? The answer is all of the above, because all these are true for this case. Okay, so the answer is all of the above. Now, assertion reason type question. It is given the decomposition of silver chloride is an example of photochemical decomposition reaction. That's a correct assertion. Silver chloride decomposes in the presence of sunlight to form silver metal and chlorine gas. That is also correct. So the answer is option A. Both A and R are true, and R is the correct explanation of A. Okay. Correct. It is given. Correct option is A. Explanation is also given here. Next question, another assertion reason. Assertion is rusting of iron is a redox reaction. reason it is saying rusting involves the oxidation of iron and the reduction of oxygen. So it can be called a redox reaction. So the answer is assertion is correct and reason is the correct explanation. So option A again. Okay, explanation is given here. You can go through it if you want. Then a balanced chemical equation obeys the law of conservation of mass. We know it is correct. The total mass of the reactants is equal to the total mass of the products. In a chemical reaction, that is also correct. So it follows that reason is the correct explanation of the assertion. Again, option A is the answer here. Another assertion reason, the reaction of zinc with the dilute hydrochloric acid is a displacement reaction. We know that. That is the correct assertion, and zinc is more reactive. That is also correct. So answer A again. Then short answer questions. Why is respiration considered an exothermic reaction? See in the chapter, when we discussed the chapter, it was very well explained over there. We know it is exothermic respiration. It produces energy. Okay, so the answer is very clearly given in the previous videos. Okay. Then, why does the color of copper sulfate solution change when iron nail is kept in it? State the type of the reaction. Copper sulfate iron. We know it's a displacement reaction. Type of reaction is displacement. Why is changing? Because iron is more reactive. Iron is more reactive than copper. Next question, why are decomposition reactions called the opposite of combination reaction? Write equations for the decomposition of lead nitrate and combination of hydrogen and oxygen. This is discussed in the previous video or while we were discussing the lesson. Okay, so combination reaction we know, and why they are opposite? Because we know combination reactions are exothermic, whereas decomposition reactions are endothermic. In combination, combining of two or more reactants taking place, whereas in decomposition of one compound or one reactant is taking place. Okay, so naturally it is just the opposite. Combination is the opposite of decomposition reaction. Okay, and here the examples are also given. Decomposition of lead nitrate and combination of hydrogen. Previous year's board questions it is. Which of the following is an example of an endothermic? Endothermic, keep in mind, endothermic, it is decomposition reaction. So we'll check decomposition of ferrous sulfate. That is the answer. All others it is not endothermic. Okay. Then shiny brown colored element X. So whenever you hear the word brown colored shiny element X, it has to be copper, and it becomes black on heat on heating. Okay, so naturally the element is copper, and we know the color of copper oxide is black. So the answer is option B. Which of the following is not a physical change? Physical change means no new substance, no chemical reaction. Okay, boiling of water to give water vapor. Not a physical change it is. So combustion of liquefied gas. So combustion means burning. Burning of LPG is a chemical reaction. All others it is dissolution of salt in water, boiling of water to give water, melting of ice. These are all examples of physical change. They are reversible, whereas this is irreversible, and the answer is option A, combustion of liquefied petroleum gas. Then the chemical reaction between hydrogen sulfide and iodine is to give hydrogen iodide and sulfur is given below. The reducing and oxidizing agents involved in this redox reaction. See, this is the reaction, and what we want is a reducing and oxidizing agent. Okay, so reduction means addition of hydrogen. addition of hydrogen. So iodine is being added with hydrogen here. Iodine forms hydrogen iodide. Iodine to iodine, hydrogen is getting added up. Okay, so adding hydrogen is reduction, right? Adding hydrogen is reduction. So iodine is getting reduced. So who is the reducing agent? Hydrogen sulfide. Okay, so the answer is hydrogen sulfide and iodine respectively. Hydrogen sulfide is the reducing agent and iodine naturally will be the oxidizing agent. Iodine will be the oxidizing agent. Iodine causes, or iodine removes hydrogen from hydrogen sulfide. Removal of hydrogen is oxidation. Okay, so iodine is the oxidizing agent. Reducing agent is hydrogen sulfide. So the answer is A, right? The answer is A. When dilute hydrochloric acid is added to iron filings, what happens? No doubt, it's a metal and acid. So hydrogen gas and iron chloride are produced. There is nothing much to think about. And the balanced chemical equation for the reaction to produce ammonia gas. Okay, nitrogen, hydrogen combines with it. So we'll check the number of hydrogen and nitrogen atoms. First nitrogen, it is balanced here. Hydrogen only 2 here, but here 6. So no, not the answer. Here in this case, nitrogen 2 on LHS, 2 on RHS, 6 on LHS and 6 on the RHS. So this is the balanced chemical equation. Okay. Then what is the color of ferrous sulfate crystals? We know it is green in color. Okay, green. Only one answer is there possible, green, and turns white. So this is the option. Okay. Then which of the following is an example of a double displacement? Only one double displacement. This is combination, this is combination, this is single displacement, whereas this is only the double displacement reaction. The answer is option D. A solution of substance X is used for whitewashing. Remember, a solution of a substance X. Okay, so what is the substance? Name the substance. No doubt it is calcium oxide. Okay, so CaO. Write its formula. CaO, no doubt. Why do we store silver chloride in dark colored bottles? We learned silver chloride can be decomposed in presence of sunlight. So it has to be protected from sunlight. So we are keeping it in dark colored bottles. The answer here is to prevent it reacting from moisture, to prevent reaction with oxygen, to prevent from decomposition in the presence of sunlight. The answer is option C. Assertion reason, the decomposition of calcium carbonate is a thermal decomposition. We know it is calcium carbonate is decomposed by applying heat. So the assertion is correct. Heat is applied to a single reactant to form 2 or more products in this reaction. That is also correct. Decomposition reaction is the definition is almost correct. Okay, so the answer is option A. The rusting of iron is a redox reaction. The process of rusting involves oxidation and reduction. So this is called. So the answer assertion is correct. R is the correct explanation of the assertion. So option A is the answer. Next question, a balanced chemical equation has equal numbers of atoms on both the reactant and product sides. Correct only. The total mass of the reactants is equal to the total mass of the products in the balanced chemical equation. So naturally the option A, both A and R are correct, and R is the correct explanation of A. Option A is the answer. Silver chloride is stored in dark colored bottles in presence of sunlight. Option A, silver chloride decomposes. Okay, so the answer is A itself. Now 2 marks questions. A student adds a few zinc granules to test tube containing dilute hydrochloric acid. What are the 2 observations he will notice? Observations, okay. So production of bubbles. Then what a reaction is taking place? 2 observations. The zinc granules is changing its color. And we can see the evolution of bubbles are being produced. Okay. And what is the gas produced? And if you bring a burning matchstick near the mouth of the test tube, it will catch fire with a pop sound, or the flame goes off with a pop sound. Okay, these are the 2 observations possible. And why is it important to balance the skeletal chemical equation? Write a balanced equation for the following reaction. Okay, at nitrate, potassium iodide, the same, and we discussed in the lesson while we were discussing the lesson. Okay, so what is the importance of? So the reaction has to follow law of conservation of mass. So we have to balance a skeletal chemical equation. Define a redox reaction. Identify the substance oxidized and substance reduced. Redox means reaction in which both oxidation and reduction taking place. And here the substance oxidized is what? Hydrogen. Hydrogen is oxidized to water because addition of oxygen. Whereas copper oxide is reduced to copper. Okay, oxidized substance is hydrogen and reduced substance is copper oxide. Okay. Now 3-mark question. What is a combination reaction? Give an example. Okay, these are simple questions you can answer by yourself. Number 2, when a student mixes a solution of barium chloride and a solution of sodium sulfate, a white precipitate is formed. Name the precipitate. It is barium sulfate. Write a balanced chemical equation. Simple. Name the type of reaction. Now the balanced chemical equation we can write here. It is balanced equation for barium chloride. Okay, barium chloride plus sodium sulfate. It is 2, Na2SO4 gives BaSO4, that is the precipitate, and NaCl. So what I have to do here is I have to make it 2 over here. This 2 is not required. Okay, then barium is balanced, chlorine is balanced, sodium is balanced, sulfate is balanced. Only that we have to do. Okay, yeah. Only 1, 2 in the case of NaCl. Name the type of the reaction. That is, the type of the reaction is double displacement reaction. Double displacement reaction. Okay, then why do we apply paint on iron articles? What is this process of decay called? Paint applying on iron articles means because of corrosion, that to prevent iron from rusting. The process is called a corrosion. State 2 ways to prevent this process. First, it is given here painting. Then you can say galvanizing, alloying, anodizing. These are some of the examples which we will be discussing in the coming chapters. Okay, next metals and non-metals, we will be discussing the answer very clearly. The 5-mark question. What is a decomposition reaction? Describe with the help of a balanced chemical 3 types of decomposition reactions. Okay, we discussed what is the color of our sulfate crystals, what happens when they are heated, name the type of reaction involved. Okay, so color, it is green, heating, decomposition. Okay, so the reaction is decomposition reaction. What happens when they are heated? We are getting ferric oxide, sulfur dioxide and sulfur dioxide, which we learned in the previous lesson. Okay, state the law of conservation. How can it be verified with the help of a balanced chemical equation? When a shiny brown colored element acts on heating in the air becomes black in color, which we discussed previously. Write a balanced chemical equation for the reaction between aluminum and manganese dioxide. Identify the substance oxidized and substance reduced. Okay, for that can try for it. It is what it is, balanced reaction between aluminum. So aluminum and manganese dioxide. Manganese dioxide, MnO2. Okay. Identify the reaction between aluminum and manganese dioxide. Okay, so naturally you will be getting Al2O3 aluminum oxide and manganese. So here aluminum, we will start with oxygen. 3 on the RHS and 2 on the LHS. So you have to make it 3 over here. You have to make it 3 over here so that oxygen is balanced. Oxygen is balanced when 2 over here. Okay, so when we are having 2 and 3 on LHS and RHS, we have to reach the LCM. 6 is the LCM, so we will make it 6 on both sides. Oxygen now 6 on LHS, 6 on RHS. Now oxygen is balanced. Now aluminum is changed into 4 numbers, so we'll add a 4 over here, aluminum 4. Then what? Manganese, no doubt it has to be 3 over here. Okay, this is the balanced chemical equation for the reaction. Okay, now so that's all for today. We have discussed almost all questions from the topic. Thank you.